Hello, my name is Willie White, and I am recording a reaction to a Orange Couch series that is dealing with the topic of gender-based violence. I will the episode today um, aired a young lady named Alta, and Alta brings a different reality to the couch sessions. Alta is a white female from South Africa, and she grew up in a nuclear family. She grew up describing a loving, caring, nurturing atmosphere, one that she attempted to replicate in the process of her marriage, of her life partner. When she struck out on her own and was able to meet what she believed to be the love of her life, then she began to recreate the image of perfection. She had the perfect system. She had the perfect view. She used that word, those terminologies, quite a bit. And as she began to develop this image of perfection, as things begin to be revealed, she continued to look away to maintain the status quo. As one of the things that stuck out to me was the fact that she was able to look past the fact that her husband revealed to her that of their 14-year marriage, he had been actually involved with homosexuality for 12 of those 14 years. And she never used that term. She used the term of having sexual relationships with men. And in the reality of that, um, this the one there were many things that were very similar in this lady's story as she discussed one of the things that as a addiction specialist is my profession. And as she discussed her husband's uh, not only his sexual preferences, but his decline in drug and substance use and his addictive behavior. And then she began to develop or demonstrate classic signs of codependency. One of the things that I tell my clients regularly that are involved with um, clinical work, treatment work, assignment work. If you write anything down, if you have anything that you are dealing with that is private, that you don't want your wife to see, then you have to store it outside of the house because women are going to read things. And one of the things that Alta continued to do was to go through her husband's briefcase, and she used the terminology of intuition as she discussed her willingness to invade his privacy. And when she talked about the things that she kept finding in this same spot to wreck her world, she kept finding in this same spot to wreck her world. The one thing that she was not doing or was not willing to do at that time was have open, frank discussions with her husband. When she did, the shock and the awe of some of the situations, she rightfully says that she was kind of trapped like a deer in the headlights. And so, one of the things that the attitude of addiction creates is that codependent process. And so, as she lived out the fulfillment of this wife of codependency and looking the other way, things continue to deteriorate more and more and more. Addiction is such a violent disease. In her story, she did not highlight the reality of everything that addiction costs, because even in her today's discussion, the topic being gender based violence, I am assuming is why she put as much emphasis on the attack as she did. But she continued to share about the position of losing her home, having to move in with her parents, having to become a single, the single breadwinner in the house, to buy a home, to take care of the children, to take care of the image of family, was something that she discussed with a lot of structure and a lot of formality, which leads me to believe that that is how the deterioration continued to persist for such a long time. Not to blame her for her attack. What I am saying is that when you are involved in a setting where there is substance abuse and where there is codependency, the whole entire system has to be willing to get involved with some type of therapeutic intervention in order for there to be real change. When the red light indicators were very present in this relationship, she held on for dear life for the image of perfection. And as a result of that, it cost her a very, very violent attack, um, that was perpetrated by her husband, and one of her husband's, um, for lack of better terms, tricks, or one of her husband's clients, who he was performing some sort of sexual act for money for his drugs, that spilled over into her being swept up into the process, drugged and raped by one of his clients. Which also highlights for this topic that there is no subset of women that is not touched by this process of gender-based violence, of domestic violence, of sexual abuse, of physical abuse, of emotional abuse. Because when we talk about violence or domestic violence, there are many forms of violence that this particular story talks about, as the psychological torture that took place for such a long time as they lived, cohabitated in the same house, but lived separate lives. The epic the epic organization that she was able to develop is said empowering people in crisis, demonstrates the strength. Each one of these couch episodes, for me, on the end of the story, demonstrates the resiliency and the power of humans to be able to endure, to overcome, and to come out on the other side of tragedy with strength. And I thank Khalil, I thank Miss Khalil Osiris for inviting me to be a part of this process, because it is a very enriching experience. I will continue to watch all episodes, and I may even add some more tutorials. But today, I thank you, and God bless.